Hello students, this video on the 11th chapter of class 7th NCERT book, that is the transportation in animals and plants, is brought to you by Ms. Bhanupriya. Before starting today's video, I would like to tell you all that what all topics are to be discussed in this chapter. So the topics which are to be discussed in this chapter are the transportation in animals, then we will discuss about the circulatory system in humans, then we will see the explanation of the excretory system in humans, then we will go for the transportation in plants, and then lastly we will discuss about transpiration. So these are the topics which are to be covered in this lesson, that is transportation in animals and in plants. Okay, now next slide I want to show you that it is going to show you the connections which is related to the topics in this lesson. So firstly what we are going to study will be about the blood, then we are going to study about the we will go on to the next topic, that will be blood corpuscles, means blood cells. Then next topic will be about heart, and then we will discuss about the excretory system, and then about the transportation in plants. Okay, so these will be the topic, and this is how we are going to connect these things. And next we will see that what is the structure of, means we will study in all these topics in details. So we go on to the first slide, which is going to tell you about the very important part of this chapter, that is to introduce this chapter, means how we are going to see that this transportation is taking place in animals and in plants. Now what is the meaning of the word transportation? So we have seen in, sometimes you all have studied in the science also, or in the another subjects also, you all might have seen this word, the transportation system. So what does this transportation system do? So this transportation system is mainly meant for the transportation of the things from one place to another, means we need to carry out things from one place to another. So this transportation becomes very important, that because of which we are able to transport the things, we are able to send the things from one place to another. Okay, so nowadays I am also using this transportation system only because we are just transporting the ideas, we are just transporting the knowledge from us to you people, so that you could study well at sitting at your home. So this is also again a medium of transportation. Here the transportation of things is not happening, but the transportation of thoughts are really happening these days because of these online lectures. Okay, so this is also another way of transportation of the things, that is by means of a system which is being made in the this transportation system could be present in the plants as well as in the animals. So in this chapter I'm going to tell you about where are these transportation system located in the body of the plant and also in the body of the animals. And first of all, the main question lies is what is the need of this transportation system. Okay, so what is the need of this transportation system? I must tell you that why this is required. This is required because we all know that the organisms like plants and animals, we all need food, oxygen and water. Now you all know that whenever we need oxygen, from where we are getting this oxygen from the air. Okay, similarly if these plants also require the gases exchange, from where are they doing this gases exchange? They are taking up the materials, they are taking up the gases from the air. Okay, they are taking up the gases from the atmosphere with the help of their stomatas. So transportation is happening, which it could be for the food, it could be for the oxygen, it could be for water, because all these things are very necessary for our survival. Fine. So we go on some more points. We will see that these elements which are to be delivered in the parts of the body, they are because of which we are only functioning it very well. If these elements are not going to be delivered to our body properly, so the function of the body will also be not in the proper condition. So this transportation is very much required in each and everybody's life, means whether it is a living organism, means whether it is a plant, animal, insect, or it could be any other living organism. each and every organism needs to have this transportation system in a very well mannered way, so that because of which the things could be transported from one place to another. Means, what is the need of this transportation system? The need of this transportation system is to carry these things which are necessary for the survival, whether it is food, whether it is oxygen, or it is a water. Okay, so these elements needed to be delivered to their body parts, so their function is so we can function properly. Okay, so all the living organism need this transportation system, whether it is a plant or it is an animal. So we will study mainly the transportation in the two living organisms, that is in plants and in the animals. Okay, so as this chapter's heading is the transportation in animals and plants, so we will first move on to the transportation of animals, then we will see the transportation of plants. Okay, so we will see both the transportation system, where are they present and how are they helping the animals and the plants for their survival. So we go into the next slide. This portion is taken from your NCERT book only, that it was telling us about this picture shows. Why I have shown this picture? It is because this is the main these are the main organs of transportation, and these are the main things which are involved in the transportation in our human body. Okay, so as we all can see in the material world, that if the things has to be transported, they all need vehicles. Okay, so the things are to be transported, some more items which are very important for the survival need to be transported. For example, vegetables are transported, things are being transported. Nowadays online shoppings are also happening. How is so that you people are getting your things at your home, sitting at your home? It is because someone is carrying those things from one place to another place. That becomes those people are the mode of transportation between you and the company which is selling the goods. Okay, similarly here also in our body, we require food, we require oxygen, and we require water. So all these things are to be transported by some vehicles. Now we will study these methods, these modes, these means, because of which we are going to have these important features, these important things from our life, which is necessary for the survival. Okay, so organisms need food, water, and oxygen for the survival. They need transport these things to various parts of their body. Okay, further, animals, they need transportation of waste also from one place to another, because you know that just in the last chapter we studied about the respiration, where we saw that during respiration the end product is the end products are the energy, carbon dioxide, and water. And I told that energy is being utilized, and we are left only with the carbon dioxide and the water. That is the waste for our body. Now how is this waste moving out from our body? So one such waste, that is carbon dioxide, we are exhaling, and the carbon dioxide is going to move from our body to other outside environment. Now similarly, there are other the good things also which needed to be transported from one place to another. Now have you ever wondered that how is this being achieved? Means what? We need to transport the good things, and we need to remove these bad things from our body. Now both the things are happening. Both the things will only happen when the transportation system is present in our body. Okay, so the function of transportation of the substance, and together they all both are going to form the transportation system of our body, that is also known as the circulatory system. So what is the main system which is helpful in the transportation? There are two systems which we need to study in this chapter, which are very much helpful in the transportation system. The first one is this circulatory system. Okay, so the first system is the circulatory system. Okay, and the second system which we are going to study will be the excretory system. So this circulatory system and the excretory system, both systems are responsible for what? For transporting the things from one place to another. So the circulatory system is going to transport all the good things, and the excretory system is going to transport all the bad things from outside the body. Okay, so this first we'll deal with the circulatory system of the animals, then we will move on to the circulatory system in the plants, and then we will study about the excretory system in animals and plants. Okay, next we first move on to the circulatory system. Now what happens when you get cut in your body? So the okay, before this circulatory system, I must tell you that the circulatory system consists of three things: the heart, the blood vessels, and the blood. Okay, so these are the three main things which are helpful to make the circulatory system functional. Okay, as you all know that we are having, means our body consists of many organ systems. Okay, so there are many organ systems. Now what does the system mean? System means there are various ways, there are various things, there are various other organs which are working together. So system means in the human body there are many organs which are working together to form a major product of that organ, that is known as system. Okay, similarly it is very similar to a company kind of thing, where employees are there, where boss is there, where the company is working because of their employees. Okay, similarly if you look around in your school also, there is also a system. You sit in the class, you are not going and moving into another section and sitting. Okay, for example, you study in the 7th class, and then once you come to school, you would just simply walk to your class, towards your class. You're not going here and there, or you're one day you're sitting in class 6, another day you're sitting in class 8, or another day you're sitting in class 10. It's not like that. You need to go according to the system. The system means you have to sit in your class where do you study. In the same manner, we also, the human beings also have various organs which work in a synchronized way, which has to seek the orders of its head. It means that the organ requires order which we get from our brain, and all these organs are going to work in a very good manner, otherwise our body is not going to work. We will fall ill, we will fall sick. Okay, so the organ which we are studying here, so the system which we are going to study here will be the circulatory system. Now this circulatory system consists of three things, that is the heart. Okay, so the circulatory system is made up of the heart, the blood vessels, and the blood. Okay, so human circulatory system is the transportation system of the human, which consists of a network of supply of food, water, oxygen, and other substance throughout the body. Okay, now why do we need circulatory system? Because we need to transport the things. Okay, for the transportation of the things. Now we need to transport the things, good things and bad things both. So good things means food, water, and oxygen are the good things, and then the main parts of the circulatory system is blood vessels and the heart. Okay, so three things make this human circulatory system. So we need to study the these main parts of the circulatory system one by one. Okay, so this picture is also showing you the diagram of your heart, which is placed in the center of your body, and then it is going to have two types of the vessels which are carrying the blood, which is known as the arteries and the veins, and then we will study about the next part which is being flown in this arteries and the veins in these blood vessels, that is our blood. Okay, so all this makes the circulatory system working. Now first we'll move on to the first part, that is the blood in the human circulatory system. Now what is this blood? You all feel that sometimes you get hurt, sometimes you get a cut in your finger, or while playing you get hurt. So what happens after getting that wound on your knees, or you get a cut in your hand, in your finger? Then you see that a red color liquid is coming out from your cut portion of your finger, or your where you got a wound. Okay, so this red color fluid which is going to flow out from the body, that is termed as the blood. Okay, so this blood is the fluid tissue which is coming out. Now what is this tissue? Tissue means it is the group of cells, and we have studied about the cells in the earlier classes. So cell is a basic structural and functional unit you all know, and from among these cells were of different types. Now we are studying about one more cell, that is the fluid tissue. Tissue means it is a group of cells. Okay, so this blood is also a kind of a tissues. Now this blood consists of, you know that blood is a liquid. How will you define this blood? You feel that what are the characteristics of blood which you see? It is red in color. Okay, it is fluid, In nature, fluid means it is liquid in nature and it flows. So fluid means it flows in the blood vessels. Now where is it flowing? It is flowing in the arteries and the veins of your body. Okay, now this red colored fluid substance that flows in our body is known as the blood, which helps in the transportation of the materials. And in the first chapter we talked about that whenever we are eating food, all the things are being absorbed and it is being dissolved in the blood. Okay, now why it is being dissolved in the blood? Again, in respiratory system I taught that whenever this energy, whenever the oxygen is being breathing, we are breathing in oxygen, then what happens to that oxygen? So this oxygen get dissolved in the blood. Okay, similarly in animals also the oxygen gets dissolved in the blood directly. Now why these all important things are dissolving in the blood? Because it is the only medium which is flowing. Okay, so it is the only way to transport the things from one place to another, because we cannot take up oxygen and you just give to each and every tissues. So we need one constant medium to flow these things from one place to another. That is being fulfilled by the red colored fluid that is known as the blood. Okay, so what are the components of blood now? So components means what all things are present in this blood, means how our blood is made up of. So the components of this blood is, there are several components. So several components, there are two main components of the blood. Blood is made up of two things. One is the liquid part, okay, and the solid part. Now what is this liquid part of the blood? The liquid part of the blood is known as plasma, and the solid part is known as the cells. So there are two parts of the blood. I first told you that it is the liquid part, that is called blood plasma, and the solid part is known as the cells. Now again, the cells are of two types, that is RBCs, and no, it is of three types. So RBCs, WBCs, and the platelets. So these are the three cells which we are going to study in this point. So we first move on to the liquid part of the blood, that is the blood plasma. Now why are these cells flowing in this liquid part? Because if cells cannot move like that, so cells need a medium to travel. So there is a liquid part in the blood which is known as the plasma, which takes up these white blood cells and the red blood cells in the body from one place to another place. Okay, so the liquid substances which is present in the blood is known as the blood plasma, and almost 55% of the blood is the blood plasma. Fine, this blood plasma is going to facilitate, means it is going to help the things of transport from one place to another place, means it is going to transport some more things like water, salt, fats, proteins, and sugar. So you could see that in this diagram where the base which is given here as the liquid part which is known as the blood plasma. So this plasma means it is the liquid part which is going to flow, which helps the other cells to flow in the blood streams. Okay, so the plasma is going to take up these RBCs and WBCs with them, and it could help the flow this is only helping the blood to flow in the blood vessels. Okay, now we move on to the next component of the blood, that is the RBCs, that is also known as red blood cells, and its another name is the erythrocytes. So erythrocytes or RBCs or red blood cells, all are the same things. Now why it is called red blood cells? Now we are moving towards the solid part of the blood. So the solid part of the blood consists of three parts, that is the red blood cells, the white blood cells, and the platelets. Okay, so last part is the platelets. Next is that so here we will study about the red blood cells, means erythrocytes. Why they are called red? Because they are red in color, and they are simply taking the amount of, they are having 40 to 45% in the blood, means we have 40 to 45% of the blood which is consisting of the red blood cells. Okay, next thing is that we need these red blood cells. Why they are red in color? Because they contain proteins. They contain one of the protein which is known as hemoglobin. Okay, they also consist of hemoglobin. Fine. Now this hemoglobin is a kind of protein which is going to take up the oxygen from one place to another. We all say that blood carries oxygen. Now how is this blood carrying oxygen? Blood is carrying oxygen because of the presence of this protein that is known as hemoglobin. So this hemoglobin is responsible for taking up the oxygen from one place to another place. Okay, next what all things are important in this RBCs? So these RBCs are mainly, they are not having the nucleus. As you know that each and every cell contains nucleus, but these RBCs are the only cells in our body which does not contains any kind of nucleus in the cell. Why this is not present in the cell? As you all know that what is the main function of this red blood cells? The red blood cells carries oxygen because of the presence of hemoglobin. Now if nucleus will be present in between these cells, so what happens? They are not going to carry up oxygen very easily because some of the part will be taken up by these nucleus. So for having the complete means the space which is present in the RBCs should be utilized for taking up oxygen. That is why they are not having the nucleus in their cells. They are enucleated and they are flat concave cells, concave type cells. Okay, they are flat cells. Okay, they are biconcave in nature, means they are simply they are having thin in the center, they are thinnest in the center, and they are thick at the borders. Okay, so this type of cells, whenever it is present, it is known as the red blood cells. And why they are red in color? Because they contain hemoglobin in them, which is carrying the oxygen, or which is going to carry oxygen. Okay, and this is helpful in the transportation of the oxygen. So now you know that the first component which was necessary for the body was the oxygen, and this is being carried by the circulatory system's member, that is the red blood cells, or it is also known as erythrocytes. Next member which we need to study is the WBCs, and it is also known as the leukocyte. So this WBCs or leukocytes, these are, why they're called WBCs? Because they are white blood cells and they do not contain any kind of color. So they are present in the fewer amount, that is almost 1%, but perform a vital function in the body. These cells fight against the germs and present in the body. So what is the function of these white blood cells? So they are going to fight from the disease, and it is very necessary for the body to have these white blood cells in the ample number. They should all contain the WBCs in a large amount, so we can fight from the germs, we can fight from the enemies which are entering into the body. Now what are these enemies? These enemies are the germs which are entering in the body, the bacteria, the viruses which are entering in the body. Could also they are the foreign particles, and they need to be removed from the body. So these are the waste products which are present in a body, which is going to cause germs and which is going to cause disease in the body. That is why they need to be thrown out from our body. That, and the main work is done by this WBCs. Next the next component is the platelets. Okay, so what are these platelets about? So these platelets are the these are the cells which are irregular in shape. Okay, these are the small cells, these are the smallest cells which are present in the blood cells, and I could see this as a diagram of the platelets, and these are the diagrams of the WBCs, and these WBC contains nucleus. Okay, please remember. And platelets are the very small cells, and they help in the fighting mechanism, they help in the clotting. Now what is this clotting? You know that whenever the blood flows out from your finger, from the cut finger, what happens there? After some time it stops. Why is it stopping? It is stopping because of these platelets. So these platelets, the main function is to stop the to clot the blood. Why it is clotting? Clotting means it is going to make the network of these platelets, because of which the blood is not coming out from that cut portion of your finger. Fine. Whenever this is done, this is happening because of the clotting factor is present in the platelets, and these platelets are responsible for the formation of the clot in your blood, so that it could stop oozing out from the cut portion of your finger. Okay, so this is very important. So these were the types of cells which are present in your blood. So RBCs we discussed about blood WBCs, that is the white blood cells which is going to fight the enemies, and then the last part was the platelets which is present in the irregular shaped cells, and these are the smallest cell among all these three, and they are going to they are going to help in the they are going to help in the transportation of the things. Now where are these blood cells going to be formed? So these blood cells are formed in the long bones, okay, in the shaft of the long bones. Where are these long bones in your body present? So it is present in the thigh bones, okay, it is present in the humerus, and it is also present in the femur. Femur means your thigh bone, and the humerus means the bone of your arm, upper arm. So these are the two places where the WBCs and RBCs are going to be made. Means these blood cells are synthesized, these are produced in the thigh bone, and it is also present in another long bones where it is having the bone marrow. So it is the main place where the blood is being formed as the bone marrow, and these bone marrows are present only in the long bones, okay. So this long bone is very much important for your body. Now you can understand how much important it is, because it contains bone marrow, and this bone marrow is very much responsible for the formation of these blood cells, okay. So this RBCs, WBCs and the platelets are going to form in the long bones. Why? Because it contains bone marrow. Next, what is the function of these blood cells? Now you could easily understand now what is the function of these blood cells. As you know that the cells which are present in the blood are the plasmas, the cells which are present, it is only the red blood cells, RBCs, WBCs and the platelets, okay. And next thing was the plasma. So what is the function of all these parts? So we have individually seen that plasma helps in the fluidity of the blood, then it helps in the transportation of the cells, and then among the cells, that is RBCs, the main function of the RBC is to carry the oxygen from one place to another, because it contains hemoglobin. And next we have studied about the WBCs. Means the main function of this WBC was to fight the germs, and then the next part was the platelets, in which we studied about the place in the platelets we have studied about that it is responsible for the clotting of the blood, okay. And now together all these functions if you include, so it is going to give you the function of blood. So this blood acts as the medium of transportation of the essential substance throughout the body, okay, such as oxygen and the nutrients. So this is very important to know that the blood, if blood is not present, then what happens? The essential things are not going to be transported. What if this RBCs are not present? Your oxygen is not going to transport from one place to another, okay. So it is present in your lungs, it is going to transport in the blood, it is going to go in each and every cell, each and every tissue. So this blood is carrying oxygen from the lungs, and it transport to the different parts of the body. See, just now I told you that when this blood is present in the blood contains oxygen as it is taking up from the lungs. Now if these bloods are not present, this blood is not present, then what happens? The oxygen from the lungs is not going to travel, okay, it is not going to be transported. Now the blood also carries waste material to the kidneys, which then filters the blood. Fine. The small intestine digests the food and absorbs its nutrients. So what happens to this blood? It carries the waste material also towards the kidneys. Now we will study much more in details about these excretory system in the next after some or one or two classes, okay. What is the next thing is that the small intestine is going to digest the food and it absorbs the nutrients, okay. I told you in the first chapter where we studied nutrition in the animals, in the second chapter we saw that the nutrition part means whatever being digested in the small intestine is taken up by the villi, and these villi are very close to the blood vessels, and these blood vessels are going to have all the nutrients which is being absorbed by these villi, okay. So this blood cells are going to take up the nutrients, it is going to take up the oxygen, it is going to take up the energy from the another parts of your body, and it is going to be transported to all over the parts of the body. Now the nutrients which needs to be provided to all over the body parts through the blood. So blood is also helpful in the protection of your body from losing the blood by forming a clot at the site of injury, at the place of injury, as this is the function of platelets, okay. So the function of the platelet was to form the clot I just now told. Now what was this blood clot? It means it is going to form the mesh like structure, this cross like structure at the site of your injury, and after some time what happens? The blood is not coming out from the blood vessels, okay. So this is the way by which you protect your body body from against losing the blood from your body, because blood clot is being formed at the place of injury. Next thing is that the blood contains special substances which helps in regulating the temperature of your body. Fine. So this blood contains the special things, means it is the way by which your body is going to maintain the temperature, and it is in summers you are not going to get so much high temperature, and in the winters you are not going to feel so much cold. Why? What happens if you are present in the cold conditions? Your blood is not going to freeze. So this is the unique property of the blood of the human beings, that it is not going to freeze according to the temperature which is present outside. It means we human beings are very much adapted to live in the lower temperature also and in the higher temperature also. So our blood is not going to flow in a very faster rate if the temperature becomes very high, as nowadays summers are going on, and we are just feeling that warm, and then what happens, our blood is not going to flow faster. Okay. And what about in the winters? In the winters also we can see that it is so chilly outside, it is so cold outside, but our blood is not going to freeze. So this is the unique property of the blood, to maintain that it is going to maintain the temperature of our body. Okay. So we saw that the blood is the main important component which is helpful in the transportation in the human beings. Okay. And we also saw the components of the blood, which consists of the WBCs, RBCs and the platelets. Okay. And the fluid part is known as the plasma, which is going to carry up the different important nutrients, energies and the other products also. Even the waste product is also taken up in the blood, and it is going to be transported either into the lungs or into the kidneys. Okay. And then we studied about this function of the blood, which is the main medium of transportation of the essential substances. So this was all about today's video, children. I will meet you all in the next video with the next topic to be discussed.